What's going on, everybody? Harrison here, and Nintendo has finally announced the September Direct. I know it was rumored and speculated for months now, and we're super excited. We decided to delay the podcast by one day, just so we can watch the direct and gather up our thoughts and excitement for tomorrow. Hopefully a lot of excitement and not not a letdown. But it is what it is. We finally got the direct, so we will be recording the podcast live tomorrow on twitch.tv/gaming with the broscast at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to catch the show live and listen to our immediate feedback of the direct and all that good stuff. Plus, we'll be talking about the Disney showcase and the Ubisoft Forward over the weekend. So we'll be talking about all that good stuff, but mainly we wanted to talk about this direct. So following this, I'm going to roll the clip from last week's podcast. It's about 30 minutes or so of us speculating and what we think is going to happen at the direct. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you've already listened to the podcast last week, you can just skip this. I just wanted to kind of separate it since we have the news of the direct coming tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the clip here, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. Let's dive into the news and speculation, rumors. I guess I don't know.
News and rumors.
Yeah, news and rumors. So we'll talk about the big one of the show is Nintendo's September Direct. YouTubers are going nuts right now with all kinds of different speculations and theories and Jeff Grubb's comments.
Yeah, he started this whole dumpster fire.
He's been starting it the entire year. So I believe it was on like a podcast he was on, I think, Last of the Nintendogs. Yep. He was talking about just the direct and stuff, but he specifically mentioned Zelda Blowout. And I think he came back on Twitter and said that maybe he shouldn't have said that or whatever the case is.
No, that was like speculation.
Yeah, that was just speculation. So I want to start with, we'll finish off with that, but so as far as the direct goes, we're thinking probably next week, right?
Yeah,
it could be this week, but what are your thoughts? When do you think it's going to happen?
I think it'll be next Wednesday. I think it'll be the 14th, which is the day before Tokyo Game Show starts, which is on the 15th. I think they'll either announce it Monday or Tuesday, and we'll see it on Wednesday. And I think it's gonna be pretty big.
Yeah,
seems like the stars are kind of aligning. There's a lot of like rumored projects that Nintendo has been sitting on for a while. And I know we talk about, Metroid Prime Trilogy and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess every single year.
Yep.
But this would kind of be the perfect time for them to release it.
This feels like the perfect storm right now. It feels...
Yeah, it really does.
And, we try to hype responsibly. We're not... But, when we start getting to that time, it's exciting to speculate and stuff like that. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we don't get anything tomorrow, because I think if we were that they were gonna, because they always usually do it like a day before, like the news, letting us know. If we don't get anything tomorrow, then I definitely think it's gonna happen next week, probably on Wednesday, like you said.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna do it on the day of TGS.
No, they wouldn't do that.
No. So. That being said, we've kind of got a time frame. Generally speaking, their directs for September are the first 2 weeks of the direct, first 15, 17 days, something like that. So we're right there in the middle of that. It could happen. Mm-hmm. They've had some directs that were in the first week. They've had some that were in the first couple of weeks. So really anything's possible. But the Zelda Blowout thing, Nick. So he used that phrase, right? He said it. Obviously, maybe he didn't mean it was going to be like this gigantic Zelda focused direct, because I don't think that's going to be the case at all.
Yeah.
So my what I think is going to happen is I think Breath of the Wild 2 will get shown. I think we'll get maybe a 2 to 3 minute trailer, show off maybe some more gameplay, some different stuff like that, and I think we'll get a name, and I think we'll get a release date, an exact release date. and maybe like a follow up saying, hey, in a few months we'll have its own direct by itself. Not that it necessarily needs that, but I think they'll say more news later to come in a exclusive direct or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Do you think the release date is going to be March 3rd, 2023, which is exactly 6 years after the first one came out?
It's exactly 6 years, but I also think that Nintendo doesn't give a shit about like anniversaries. Obviously, they didn't care Zelda's 35th at all. We got the Game and Watch. I don't know. I'm either thinking maybe it'll either happen March 3rd or it'll be like towards the end, like the last Friday of March. Whatever that is, just since that's the end of their fiscal year. March 3rd would be cool. I think that would be awesome. But
yeah,
I definitely think it's going to come out sometime in March though. That's my reasonable guess.
Yeah, which also puts that as the longest time between Zeldas.
Yeah, which is crazy because everyone thought, okay, sequel to Breath of the Wild, like they've already got the engine ready to go. They're just filling in, whatever. And that's not the case. But Zelda always gets delayed, so I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, it's crazy that that this wait is going to be longer than the wait between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. That one felt like an eternity. That one took the end of the Wii and then an entire Wii U generation.
Well, before Skyward Sword came out, what, 2011?
Yeah, 2011.
So okay.
But I think it was later in 2011.
Okay.
So it was really like 5 years and some change, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did not think we would wait this long. Maybe in the future, don't announce stuff like
Don't announce stuff.
Not that it mattered. I mean, we all knew that they were making another Zelda. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you get people so hyped up, and it's we haven't seen a trailer in 3 years. What's going on? Is the game? Is it in rough shape? It's like no, they probably just announced it. They gave us a quick little trailer, and that was it. And they probably just started working on it like not so long ago. So,
I mean, this is a game we thought was going to come out in 2021.
Yeah,
which is stupid now, but
yeah, exactly.
But anyways, so I want to talk about the Zelda blowout.
Okay.
Because the most obvious thing is obviously Breath of the Wild 2, and the other super obvious thing is Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Okay, so do you think these are happening?
So
number one, and number two, do you think it's coming in one pack, or do you think it's going to be separate $60 games entirely?
I don't know. Like, I don't know where this dual pack thing came from. I don't know who started that rumor or speculation. I think it's happening. Those games are ready. Like they're they've been sitting on it. I mean, they were just simple, not simple, but ports from that have already been HDified. So they're ready to go. So do I think they're happening? Absolutely. Do I think they're probably going to get announced this week or next week? I think so. I mean, if we go back to 2020 with Mario, they announced the All-Stars thing in September, and it came out in October. So this could very well be the case for Zelda.
September as well.
Yeah. It came out in the same month. Was it September?
Yeah.
So that would be kind of insane because like, what else is Nintendo have in September?
Just Splatoon. Yeah.
That would be kind of wild. I don't know if they would announce it now and it come out the end. That would be kind of insane.
I mean, it could.
They could. I mean, they did it with Mario. Mario is a huge seller, and it sold like insanely well.
10 million, I think.
So that, I mean, that could be insane. But I think it's going to happen whether they come out at the end of September or maybe they fill in that slot in December. That's kind of missing. Obviously, there's the Metroid Prime remake, so maybe this makes more sense for it to come out in end of September, and just get it out as soon as as quickly as possible because it's Zelda. It doesn't need, it doesn't really need a lot of marketing time.
And it's a re-release.
Yeah,
so.
and it's just a re-release, so it's nothing nothing crazy. Maybe they'll have an amiibo or something. I don't know. Do I think it's going to be a dual pack? I think people would be pissed off if it's $60 each.
Especially coming off of The Last of Us.
Yeah, coming off The Last of Us, and while that game was, is that the definitive way to play The Last of Us Part 1? Absolutely. It looks like a really great game. Is it worth $70? Probably not.
I think so.
I mean, unless you just never played it before, I don't know. But I think it's a possibility that it could be a dual pack. But it's also Nintendo, so they can do. I mean, they can get away with doing everything, whatever they want. So if they wanted to charge $60 per pop, I think people would be. I think a lot of people would be very mad.
Yeah, I think like also like one thing that hasn't been mentioned a lot is like if you're selling these games separately, they're like, and if you're selling them for $60, like the I feel like the games would kind of cannibalize each other in terms of sales. Like like your normal person would pick up whatever game they're nostalgic for. So like a lot of people would pick up Wind Waker, a lot of people would pick up Twilight Princess, but they wouldn't pick up both if they were $60. So, I if you were to run the numbers, I don't know if it would be more advantageous to do one $60 pack that has both of them or sell them separately and see, where the cards land in terms of sales. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think it makes more sense to just put them together. That way, whether or not this person's going to play Twilight Princess, they still have to buy the double pack to play Wind Waker. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at, but it seems like it makes more sense to go.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah, because I mean, people, like you said, people are going to pick whatever their favorite one is. I mean, some people are going to get both. I don't even know if I would do that. I would probably pick the one I want to play now, and then buy the other one at another point in time. I mean, I would definitely get both regardless because I'm a huge Zelda fan, so whatever. So obviously we would prefer the dual pack at this point. I think like you said, I think it makes the most sense because you don't want to cannibalize sales for the other game. Twilight Princess I think it was the second highest selling Zelda game of all time at this point now. So maybe more people would pick Wind Waker up. I don't know. But they both came out on the Wii U, so like I think that's kind of crazy and unfair, and like we talked about last week, like kind of anti-consumer. Like don't do that to people, like because they'll buy it, but don't do that.
I would say just do both.
Good.
I would just say to do both for 60, or at the same time you can sell them separately for $40 each, or do like a Bayonetta 1 and 2 situation where they're $50 separately, but if you buy one of them, you can buy the other one for $10.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works physically, but
right. Because I mean, I definitely want both of them physical. I was watching. I don't know if you ever watched RGT 85.
Yeah, I've watched him.
So he was kind of throwing the idea about Nintendo kind of toying around with like the $70 price tag for these things. So maybe they release these for $70, and that kind of gets them in like that kind of like into that step of $70 games. Not saying that they would necessarily do that, or if I agree, but that could be a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a way for them to jump into that. I don't know if they could justify it for other games.
Yeah.
But if it's a dual pack, like I wouldn't be happy with it. I think it would still be a little skeevy to charge $70 for a game where I've already been HDified and we're already came out on Wii U. It's like, what are you doing? But they did that with Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that
Tropical
was
Country.
$60. That was $10 more.
Yeah.
And they added Cranky Kong.
That did really well on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, do you think so? Do you think that they add anything to these games, like any sort of like additional dungeon or anything like that, or do you think they're just going to port them, kind of as is? They'll probably, up-res them a little bit, maybe just depends. Maybe, but do you think they touch?
I don't
these
think
things?
Wind Waker needs it.
Yeah.
I think Twilight Princess could definitely use another upres, or just updated textures.
Yeah.
Because that one, even on the Wii U, it looked pretty ugly.
Right.
But I could see them adding like small, like quality of life improvements, kind of like they did for Skyward Sword. But they already did that.
Yeah.
On the Wii U. So unless they like find more quality of life improvements to make, like they've already made like sailing faster in Wind Waker. They did a myriad of things in Twilight Princess, and that one was already like pretty good to begin with. But I don't know, like it's also weird because like it was so nice having the map on the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah.
Like how are they gonna transition that back to a one screen system? Because that's something people don't talk about is like the Wii U was really good for having for games that had maps or games that had inventory screens that you could just put down on the controller. And that's going to be gone on the Switch. So like you have to find a middle ground. I mean, obviously you could just press start and be at the inventory screen, but
still, it was.
I don't know. It'd be cool if they could find a way to get around that.
Yeah, I mean, the Wii U was a cool console. Like it just didn't have a lot
really
of
cool
like.
Console.
It just didn't have a lot of games on it.
Yeah,
especially third party stuff. So okay, so that's Breath of the Wild 2, this dual pack thing. Even if they have those two things there, I still wouldn't call it a blowout. So what else
I agree.
What else do you potentially think could be here? I mean, there's the rumored like remake of Oracle and Ages and Seasons, which I would prefer that over the dual pack at this point. I want to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Like if they I don't know, got Grezzo involved and did like some sort of style, like I don't know if I necessarily want the Link's Awakening style, but something like that where they change the art style of the 2D games. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, like mentioning Grezzo, I think that makes sense because the last game that they released, I think was Miitopia. I think they worked on Miitopia, which came out in like 2021.
Yeah. Or
okay, they did, yeah.
Or maybe put like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, like put the 3DS versions or whatever on on the. They have to do a little bit of work for that, but I mean that's a possibility. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff, but I think the guaranteed things that are going to be there, I just wouldn't call it a blowout unless they had like some amiibos or something or something else there that they could call it that or whatever. But
yeah, I think Grezzo is working on another 2D Zelda. I think it'll be in the art style of Link's Awakening because they could like reuse a lot of assets.
Yeah.
But if that would make sense to have a game have like either Oracle of Seasons and Ages, or like
that's
Minish Cap.
Yeah, I was gonna say Minish Cap maybe. Because I mean, other than that, I mean, you start getting to the stuff on the DS, and that's kind of hard
It's
hard to port over. I just don't think that's a possibility.
So that having that would turn this into a blowout.
Yeah,
I think. Like if you have 3 different games going on, or 4 with the dual pack, then that's pretty heavy. Some pretty heavy Zelda focus.
Yeah. So let's say we get our trifecta of a perfect Zelda Direct. We get Breath of the Wild, we get the dual pack as a dual pack, and then we get I don't know, a remake of Oracle and Ages and Seasons as like I don't know if they would do those as a dual pack as well, or if they would do standalone for those.
Maybe add in that last game. Like I think Capcom had been working on a 3rd game.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
In that.
So when do you think? That's a lot of Zelda games to announce and show off. When do you think this stuff would come out?
Well, I think Twilight Princess and Wind Waker would be September.
Okay, so towards the end of September.
Yeah, I think.
So like September, the last 30th is the last day of September, and that's on a Friday. So
there you go.
Either there or maybe the 23rd. I think if it's going to get announced this week, it's the 30th. It's going to be announced next week, or this week it'll be the 23rd. Next week will be the 30th.
Okay.
Potentially. I mean, I'm just guessing at this point, but they can do wherever they want. Like put it like people are going to buy it anyways. So
Oracle games, I would just say they would be 2023.
Yeah.
And then Breath of the Wild 2 would be, spring. Or whatever specific date in spring.
You think like the Oracle of Ages stuff would come like?
I think that'd be later
around this time next year.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
I think so. But
or what if they delay Zelda or Breath of the Wild again till holiday, and then they put Oracle of Ages and Seasons in the springtime? I'd be okay with that. I mean,
dude, I can see that. I can see that happening. I that would make sense. Like, I can see this game getting delayed to holiday. I can see them announcing that in the direct, saying like, "Hey, like here's another trailer. Here's the title."
Coming holiday 2020, 2023.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
It'd be wild though.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would be upset, but I mean, I want the best game possible. So, and if they give us that buffer of Oracle of Ages and Seasons, a lot of people didn't play this game, so that's a great. Obviously, they're completely different, style of games, but I think that's a good buffer to kind of appease people. In the meantime,
I think so. Well, anything else aside from Zelda that you're expecting or hoping for?
I mean, we talked about it kind of last week. I mean, the Primes, like the Prime thing, or a Metroid trilogy, something like that. The game, I think they need to announce some more stuff for the expansion pack. I think they'll add the Zelda stuff, Age of Calamity DLC to that thing. If you want to include it into the Zelda Blowout. Okay. I think
that would make sense.
I think they'll add or talk about Game Boy Color and advanced stuff. I think I had mentioned maybe Game Boy Color coming to like the base model and then the advanced come to like the expansion pack. I think that would make a good amount of sense.
That would make sense.
I don't know what else. What games, unannounced stuff or updates to games? What would you want to see?
Well, it's been rumored that they've been sitting on a Fire Emblem for a while, so whenever they want to talk about that,
okay.
It's rumored that they were like working on like a remake, like a Fire Emblem remake, a new Fire Emblem, and of course Advance Wars. They could shadow drop that at this point. They could say, "Hey, this game's out today." And I don't think we still
didn't know what's going on with Advance Wars. I think it's time to let that thing come out.
Yeah.
You've got to hear in the news, but I'll go ahead and bring it up now. They could potentially announce that It Takes Two is coming to the Switch.
That was leaked. Yeah, leaked by the snitch, which kind of also confirms that there's a direct coming soon, because that's like a direct level announcement.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as like third party titles are concerned.
Yeah, that was a huge game. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Hopefully that comes to the Switch, and hopefully it runs well.
That might.
It ran great on the Xbox, but
yeah, I might have some trouble on the Switch, maybe, potentially.
Yeah, like any third party stuff that you'd want to see like come to the Switch, like any games that are already out that you'd like to see ported over.
Not really. I really don't care too much about third party stuff coming to the Switch, to be honest. Unless it's like a third party exclusive, like Monster Hunter or something like that. Because generally those games, like maybe Revelations 3 maybe that would be great to get. For them to announce that. yeah, there's nothing really else I can think of. I'm sure there is stuff, but
yeah, I'd like to see another HD 2D like remake of some sort or new game. Whether that's like I don't know if they could do like Golden Sun or Chrono Trigger because I want to play that game. I haven't played that one before.
Yeah, that game is cool.
Love like there's a lot of games that like I would love to visit for the first time, but just never played. Like I don't want to like go on a PC and play them. I don't want to emulate it. I'd just rather play it on a console.
Yeah.
Or and on the
Well,
Switch.
I think I mean even if they don't do like an HD version, like I think if they bring that stuff to the Game Boy Advance service or whatever, I mean a lot of those games are. I mean Game Boy Advance is incredible, so there's a lot of games that they could bring over from that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean they could start off with like Golden Sun and maybe Zelda or something. I don't know, and then you know launch stuff every month like they've been doing with everything else. But yeah, I don't. I mean, there's the rumored Donkey Kong game, but I don't really have a huge affinity for Donkey Kong. I don't know. I don't know what else I would want to see. Maybe we'll get the trailer for Mario, the movie coming out next year.
You mean Chris Pratt, the movie?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Mario. Watch where you walk.
Hey guys, I'm Mario. I'm Chris Pratt.
I am curious. Like, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. I'm curious.
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'm sure it's gonna be an okay movie.
I just don't know why they didn't get like the voice actor for Mario to do it, but whatever.
Like he would do it. I'm sure he'd do it.
Yeah, I think he's in the movie. He's like doing it as like a cameo or something.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just want a big name attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at least it's not live action. At least it's like animation. So
thank God.
Anything else for the direct, Nick, that you could think of?
No, I am really excited though. I think it's going to be a big one. Not to get anyone's hopes up, but we obviously didn't have one during the summer, or we didn't have a main direct.
Yeah,
and
it's time.
It's time. It's time to hear more about the games that are coming out over the next year. Like I'm sure we'll see more Bayonetta, more Mario and Rabbids. I'm sure.
Yep.
And then hear about those spring 2023 games. So yeah. I'm pretty pumped for it.
I'm excited. I'll since I'm not working, I'll be at least live streaming it at some point whenever they announce it.
Nice.
So that'll be cool. But all right, yeah, let's move on from the direct. We may be talking about it next week. Who knows?